Hello and welcome back. We're going to be doing a few sections over some concepts in geometry. And the first one we're going to be talking about is the perimeter. And perimeter is simply just the distance around an object. Okay, so the distance around an object. Okay. So that's as simple as I can make it. And what we're going to first talk about is the perimeter of a polygon. Okay, and the perimeter of a polygon means that you add up all the sides of the polygon. Okay, and before we move on, a polygon. All right, so let's write this up here. That a polygon is a many-sided figure with straight edges, straight sides. Okay, so we're not going to be dealing with curves just yet. We will, in a bit. But what we're going to do to figure out the perimeter of a polygon, we just want to add up all the sides. Okay, and on this first example, okay, calculate the perimeter of each polygon. Let's take a look at this guy. My perimeter for this first polygon, we're going to denote that as the perimeter P. Okay, and so for P, we're just going to add up all these sides. So I'm going to start with this first one, which is 5 meters. Okay, 5 meters. And then we'll add the next one, which is 9 meters. All right, plus the next one, which is 6 meters. Okay, and then we're going to do, we've got 5 meters here. So plus another 5 meters. And then plus the last side, which is 4 meters. Okay, and so if we add all these up, 5 plus 9 is 14, plus 6 is 20, plus another 5 is 25, plus another 4 is 29. So our perimeter here, the total length around the object, is 29 meters. Now I did all that in my head. Let's just double check with a calculator. 5 plus 9 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 gives me 29. So we're good. So 29 meters. Now make sure that we label what this is. Okay, because we're dealing with meters here, we want to make sure that we label that the distance around this object is labeled in meters as well. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. In this one, I'm going to do this up here. So the perimeter of this polygon is going to be, let's start with the first side, which is 11 centimeters. Okay. And then we're going to add 4 centimeters. And then we'll add 2 centimeters. And then we're going to add 7 centimeters. And then we're going to add 2. Okay, so then plus 2 centimeters. All right, so if we add all these up, and I try and just do it in my head, 11 and 4 give me 15, plus 2 is 17. Okay, if I take 17 centimeters and add another 7 centimeters on that, that's going to give me 24 centimeters, and then add another 2 gives me 26 centimeters. So our perimeter, adding them all up, is 26 centimeters. Okay. On the calculator, let's just double check. 11 plus 4 plus 2 plus 7 plus 2 gives me 26. Okay, so we're good. All right, and that's all we're doing. Okay, so, but those are for kind of like irregular shaped polygons. We have some specific formulas for, like, say, rectangles. Okay, a rectangle is going to be 4 sides. So it's got 4 sides. We know that opposite sides are congruent. Opposite sides are congruent. And congruent means that they have the same measure, okay? And then the angles, we're going to have 4 right angles. 4 right angles. And that's pretty much it for now. So I'm just going to draw a generic rectangle here. And, you know, I know that my opposite sides are going to be congruent. So those two sides are going to be the same, and these two sides are going to be the same. All right. So what happens is and you know, we have 4 right angles here, so I can tell what those are. All right. I'm going to call this my length, and this my width. Okay. Now, if I called this my length, and this is the same length as this, then we're going to call this the length, and then this the width. All right, so the cool thing that we can do here is we can calculate the perimeter of this, and we can say, all right, if I take L plus W plus L plus W, notice that I have 2 lengths that I'm adding together. Okay, so my perimeter can be written as 2 times that length, and I also have 2 widths. So I could then add 2 times the width. And this is a formula to calculate the perimeter of a rectangle. So this is a formula, all right? And we're going to use that, all right, on the next few examples. Now you can still just add up all the sides of this, but, you know, we can just, you know, go from there. All right, so it doesn't matter which one you call your length or your width because of the way you know, that this formula works. But what I have is this rectangle here, okay? And I want to talk about what congruent means. So what I know is that this opposite sides are congruent. I know that these 2 segments are congruent, and I know that these 2 segments are congruent. Okay, so what I know about this is that if this length is 4, then this length is also 4. Okay, if this length down here is 3, I know that this length up here is also 3, and this is 4 centimeters and 3 centimeters. Okay, so your perimeter, you could sit there and you could just say, okay, I'm going to take 3 centimeters plus 4 centimeters plus 3 centimeters plus 4 centimeters, and that's going to give me 3 and 4 give me 7. Plus another 3 gives me 10, plus another 4 gives me 14. So my perimeter, we know, is 14 centimeters. So you can still just add up all your side lengths if you want to, but there is a formula, okay? And so here's what I know. I'm going to call this part here my length, and this my width. Okay? So my length is equal to 3 centimeters. My width is equal to 4 centimeters. Okay, and what I know from that, just, you know, using my perimeter formula, is that I'm going to do 2 times L plus 2 times W. Okay, and I take these values and I plug them in, and I'm going to get that my perimeter is 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. Okay, and 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. 2 times 4 is 8. And if I do 6 plus 8, then my perimeter is going to be 14 centimeters. Okay, so it kind of just depends on which one you guys want to do. Okay, it doesn't matter to me as long as you are able to figure out what the perimeter is. Okay, now on this one, it says find the perimeter of a rectangle that is 5.25 yards by 3.5 yards. What I typically like to do is I just come in here and I just draw a quick little picture of a rectangle. Okay, nothing special, nothing fancy, but I'm going to call this, you know, 5.25, and I'm going to call this 3.5. All right, so my perimeter, and I'll just call this my length and this my width. Okay, so length is equal to 5.25. My width is equal to 3.5. All right, so what I can do, again, I can just come in here and I can, you know, do my formula, 2 times my length plus 2 times my width. Okay, so my perimeter is equal to 2 times my length, which is 5.25, all right, plus 2 times my width, which is 3.5. All right, now if I do 2 times 5.25, that's going to give me 10.5. All right, so 10.5. And then plus 7 times 3.5, which is, or I'm sorry, 2 times 3.5, which is going to give me 7. And then my perimeter If I do 10.5 plus 7, it's just going to be 17.5, and this is going to be yards. Okay, like I'm from Boston, and I'm calling it park the car in the yard. All right. Okay, the other thing you could do is you could simply just add these up. Okay, you could do 5.25 plus 5.25 plus 3.5 plus 3.5. And if I do that, I'm going to do 5.25 plus 5.25. And then add 3.5 and 3.5 again. And that would give me 17.5 yards. Okay, so whatever you want to do, doesn't matter to me, as long as you get it right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one is squares. Now, squares are pretty cool. They're one of my favorite figures, and yes, I have favorites when it comes to geometric figures, and that's not weird or anything like that. So, okay, so squares have 4 congruent sides. Okay, so that means that the sides are all the same length. So the sides are the same length. Okay, and we have 4 right angles. All right, so if I were just to kind of draw a generic picture of a square, it would look like this. Okay, we just, try and make them all have the same length here. I have 4 right angles, and I have 4 congruent sides, okay? So, and I'm just going to denote that as side length S. Now, we also have a formula for this, okay? If this is length S, then this is also has a length of S, and this has a length of S, and so does this one. So my perimeter would then be S plus S plus S plus S. Okay, and if I have 4 of them, I'm repeating that addition, my perimeter is just going to be equal to 4 times that side length S. Okay, so pretty easy. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one. And this one says calculate the perimeter of each square. So what I know about this square is that if it's a square, all my sides are congruent. Okay, and that this is going to be 20 1/8 inches here. This is going to be 20 1/8 inches here. All right. And it's a little bit trickier to add up these numbers with the eighths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert 1/8 into a decimal. And so really what this means, gosh, why does it do that? What this means is that 20 1/8 inches is the same thing as saying 20.125 inches, okay? And so that's a little bit easier to work with, especially if you have a calculator. It's just a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is this. To find my perimeter here, I'm just going to use my formula 4 times S. Okay, and this is my side length S. Okay, any one of these could be thought of as your side length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug that in, and my perimeter is going to equal 4 times my side length, which is 20.125. Okay, so I'm going to do 20.125 and multiply that by 4, and that's going to give me a perimeter of 80.5 inches. Okay, and that's what we have. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next one. The next one is just words, and it says find the perimeter of a square with a side length of 7.8 kilometers. So let's just draw a quick little picture, because I like drawing pictures. Scattered pictures in the corner of my mind. Memories of the way they were. Okay, so I've labeled one of the sides as 7.8 kilometers, okay, and that's just my side length. Okay, so what I know is that my perimeter is equal to 4 times that side length. So to calculate this, I need to plug this in for S, and so I get 4 times 7.8. All right, so 4 times 7.8 is going to give me 31.2. So my perimeter is equal to 31.2 kilometers, and that's it. Okay, so not too bad. Pretty simple. Perimeter is pretty easy. And let's take a look at this last one. Okay, so here's where some of these applications come into play. So we have this problem where JC is adding crown molding along the top of the walls of her rectangular dining room. Okay, this is an important piece of interior decorating is crown molding. So if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to make the value of your house better or something like that, then put in some crown molding. It's good stuff. All right. In the rectangular dining room, which measures 14 feet by 12 feet, so I'm going to draw a picture of that. A rectangular room that's 12 feet by 14 feet, okay? And it says how many feet of molding will be needed. This question right here is asking you for perimeter, okay? So the perimeter is equal to 2 times 12 plus 2 times 14 because we have a rectangle, okay? And so then, 2 times 12 is going to give me 24 plus 2 times 14, which is 28. So 28 plus 24 is going to equal 52. So my perimeter is 52 feet. Okay, so if that's my perimeter, that's how many feet of molding that will be needed. Now, here's the other thing that we need to think about, okay? If the molding sells for $3.25 per foot, what is the total cost going to be? So what I need to do is I need to take the amount of feet that I have, which is 52 feet, multiply it by 3.25, and that's going to give me my total cost. So total cost here, total cost is going to be, and let me do this, let me do $3.25, and that's the cost per foot, and we're going to multiply that by 52 feet, all right? So multiply that by 52, so 52 times 3.25 gives you a total cost of $169, okay, to do this, all right? So that's, just using this idea of perimeter to figure out, some application problems. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon. If you got any questions, let me know. Thanks. Bye.